So I've been using this Hasselblad X2D Mark 200C with the 55mm lens for the past 1 month, I would say, and absolutely stunning images. But again, this is a prime, so I always wanted something which we could have just gone a bit more wide. So that's the reason I just went ahead and got this, the 20-35 millimeters f3.2 Hasselblad lens. It just arrived here, so we will just go ahead and unbox it. I will give you the unboxing experience, and then we will go and discuss more about it, like the pros and cons, everything about this lens. So packaging looks something like this. The H logo goes here, then you get the Hasselblad logo, H logo, Hasselblad logo. Then again they have stickers, like if you remove this, the warranty gets void. At the back it says Hasselblad X2D 20-35 exclusive lens. This is E series exclusive, 3.2 to 4.5 aperture, and the serial number and all those stuff. So on unboxing it, packaging is just bloody so good. I mean, you always want to keep all of those Hasselblad packaging all the time. It's same like having an Apple. So this is how the packaging is. So on opening it, you straight up get the lens hood, the lens, and the lens. Wow. So on touching it, you can absolutely feel a completely metal build, and it's heavy. Yes, it's close to 800 grams, not very lightweight. Again, you have to like carry all the time in your bag, so it's kind of heavy. So let's just unbox it. So quite a heavy lens, and as well the trademark Hasselblad lens cap, and straight up you get the lens. It says 77 millimeters filter size, Hasselblad logo, 3.2 to 4.5, 20 to 35 millimeters. Here it goes. The you can, it's kind of very silent, the 20, 24, 28, 32, 35, and this is what you can actually use the custom config at the camera config and just use it for your setting anything to this custom button. I normally use it for the ISO, so I normally set all of my ISO settings always in all of the XCD lenses to ISO. Anytime I need to change on ISO, I can just keep on using this, and this is for the, and you can see that this lens, everything goes inside, nothing is like protruding outside or coming inside or outside. Everything goes inside it, and it's kind of very silent, very silent. Again, it's a lift starter. Here you get the metal Hasselblad logo. Again, the full lens is completely made out of metal, of course, and it's quite heavy, I would say. So very neat, beautiful build quality. Of course, again, it's very expensive. I think one of the most expensive lenses I have ever got. It's close to $6,500, which is kind of very heavy and very pricey. And this is where you get the Hasselblad logo, hex mount, and on this, I will just put it back. So beautiful lens, and the lens hood, of course. So lens hood, you get it straight, something almost the same as the Sony or Canon, whatever, 16-35 millimeters. It's always gonna be a similar kind of filter, and it has the Hasselblad logo. So you get the lens, you get the lens filter, and inside it, let me check what else do we get. Okay, so on opening it, we get some details, the lens details, the books, and the serial number, of course, the warranty, serial number, everything goes here. So it comes with the warranty, of course. So you can just register, click and register, and then we get the bag, a neat leather bag. It's just so bloody high quality stuff. It's very well made. You literally can use this bag for anything else. Probably I will just keep it inside the Ferrari to keep my other stuff. It's just bloody so good. Of course, we never use a bag for the carrying the lens, but still it's good to have it. So if someone wants to keep the lenses inside the leather bags, they can just put it something like this, and that's all. Beautiful. Now let's put it in the camera, and I will show you how it looks with the camera, and then we will discuss more about it, like the pros, cons, and all of those details. So we will just put it back. I have to, of course, activate the lens warranty by going to Hasselblad website. So I have to do that. So I will just keep it outside. Probably I will just use this to enable my warranty, and we will just put it in my camera right now, and we will see how it looks. Straight up. All right, so this is how it looks for the 55 millimeters. It's just looking so good, and it's not very heavy as well. It's perfect. But again, 55 just gets too close. 55 in terms of this is like medium format. So of course, for the full frame, it's going to be close to 43 millimeters. And for the 20 to 35 millimeters, it's close to, for the full frame, it will be close to 16 to 27 or 28 millimeters. So fair enough, more than enough. For the wide, and I think this is the most widest, ultra widest lens you can get in Hasselblad. They don't have any other lens like 14, 16, 12, 20 is the minimum. So if you have a 20, then you can reach close to 16 millimeters. So now we will just change the lens and see. So okay, so 55 millimeters we just have to remove. All right. Okay. All right, perfect. It's installed. 55 millimeters. We'll just keep it safe. All right, so this is how it looks with the 20 to 35 millimeters without the lens hood. Of course, if we put the hood, it will look something like this. So if we put the hood, it will be somewhat similar size. You can see that this is how it looks with the hood. So kind of neat, but it's, yes, it's heavy, heavy, man, it's heavy. So you literally have to decide like which lens you would be carrying most of the time. Probably I would be carrying, of course, both of them. So now let's switch on and see. All right, okay. Lens initializing. Of course, you need to update the lens firmware as well. So once you connect any of the lens, you need to update the lens firmware. Like 55 millimeters lens, we had already updated. So all you have to do is just go to menu, general, and if you go to my lenses, you can just select the lens what you're using. So for example, I have the XCD. Okay, my lenses, we just have to go figure out the lens. Anyways, I don't know why it's not showing up, but we will just go ahead and probably we will update the license. This is the license. Okay, serial number. Okay, anyways, I will just have to connect to the computer and then we will get it. So all right, so this is how it looks with the lens. You can see that this is how the look is. I most of the time I like hate connecting those lens caps, but the only problem is if you don't use the lens cap, of course the lens is exposed and you may scratch it, and losing or scratching a $6,000 lens gonna be quite a sad stuff to happen to your life. So probably I will just put one 77 millimeters filter to it, probably a CPL or like polarizer filter, and then we should be set. So now it's at 35 millimeters. If we go to 20 millimeters, it's like quite wide. I can see that. So if I click here of my studio, we will just click something like this, and you can see that. Beautiful. So we can literally just go all the way and see what's happening in my office, what's inside the screen, everything we can. It just edge to edge. It's very sharp, very sharp. It's just so good. And this is at 20 millimeters. Now if we go to 35 millimeters, we can reach somewhat like this. And the same scene, if I'm going to 20 millimeters, I can reach somewhere around this. So I can now show it to you. So this is at 20 millimeters, and this is at 35 millimeters, and this is 20 millimeters f 3.2, this 35 millimeters f 4.5. This is how close you can see how close it gets. Now if let's say we have to I mean the test the minimum focusing distance. If you have to test, I can show it to you. So let's say we have to click this one. For example, we will just click this, let's say. So I can see that it's already focusing. Okay, now let's get a bit more close. Yes, yes, it's struggling, of course, because the minimum focusing distance is 32 centimeters. Now you can see that it's focusing. If I get close, of course it's gonna struggle, and once it's more than 30 centimeters, immediately it's gonna get clicked. So now if you see, I've just clicked it, and we can just go all the way. This is the beauty of having the 100 megapixel sensor. You literally can zoom in anything you want. No matter how wide your image is, you can just literally zoom in all the way to 100% even, and it just looks mind blowing. It just looks so good. Anyways, we will just now discuss more about the pros and cons before we close this video. So a bit of backstory, because I'm pretty sure there would be a lot of people like me who would be in the confusion mode of which ultra wide lens to get for the Hasselblad X2D or the X2D Mark II. Because I was actually in confusion which one to go for, like the 25mm prime, because normally I love primes. I hate actually those zoom lenses. I absolutely love those prime lenses. So most of my lenses in the Sony lineup, all of them are mostly primes. Of course, I do have the telephoto ones or the zoom ones for my videos, but I prefer always for the photos, I always prefer for the primes. So I was actually in the mood of getting the 25 millimeters, but the only thing is in the Hasselblad range, the lenses choice are kind of very limited, and each of those lenses are extremely expensive. So always your decision needs to be something which has to be very practical, and you have to give it a lot of thought. So my first thought was about getting the 25 millimeters. Then since I decided, like, if I'm getting a 25 millimeters, it will be close to like 18 millimeters, and probably I always have to go a bit back or a bit front. And best thing of the 25 millimeters is it's faster than this, because this one is the biggest aperture is f3.2, but for the 25 millimeters is f2.8, and that's the 25 millimeters size is also kind of big. This size is almost smaller than 25 millimeters, I would say, but still it's heavy. 25 millimeters probably would be lighter because it was only a prime lens. But yes, that was faster, so it was close to f2.8, so you can actually let more light in. But since, like, I cannot get both the lenses, I just had to take one single choice. So I decided, let's go with the one. At least I will be having a bit of benefit of not going backward or forward, and at least I will have benefit of like going all the way from 16 till close to 27, 28, 30 millimeters. If this goes till 27 millimeters, which is good to go. And so, like, because again, whenever you are shooting landscapes or like huge astrophotography, or probably like cityscapes or anything, you need something very wide, ultra wide. But again, if it's prime, then you have to keep on going backward, forward, something like that. But again, like, if you are someone who shoots a lot of night photography, then I would say go for the prime 25 millimeters if you don't mind going backward and forward. But if you're someone who is shooting mostly daylight, then maybe probably go for this. Was the main reason why I went for this 20 to 35 millimeters, because mostly 99% I shoot in the daylight. And in the daylight, of course, you don't need that huge open wide aperture. Anyways, you have the light. And again, on the top, on ultra wide or wide lenses, you don't get that field of view or the bokeh effect, of course, because it's gonna be a pretty wide. You need all that whenever you are going above like 50, 60, 90 millimeters, something like this. Then you need that bokeh effect. But for the wide lenses, you of course don't need that huge wide aperture. You should be fine even with f4 as well. My only complaint is, since this lens is so bloody expensive, it's just so expensive, they should have at least kept it, because this is again the exclusive series, not a cheap lens, not a simple lens. This is again the Hasselblad E series, the most exclusive series of lenses, like the best of the best image quality you can get in this lens. So if they're already charging close to $6,000 for a lens, only $6,000 just for a lens, they should have made it faster, close to like f2.8, 2.5, something like that given. But no, this is like starts from 3.2, and again 3.2 is not stable all the way till 35. Whenever you are at 20, you get the 3.2. Whenever you are at 35, it gets all the way to 4.5, which is huge. I mean, after charging $6,000 for a lens, if you are giving this variable aperture, that is not good. Second thing what I hate about this lens is, again, it's so expensive, but the max sync speed is gonna be 1 by 2000, which is again just too low. Whenever we are shooting with the Sony, we get up to like 1 by 8000. Whenever we are shooting with a 90mm XCD lens, we are getting up to 1 by 4000. Again, on the 55 millimeters, its sync speed is 1/2000. This one is also only 1/2000. So they should have given us a bit more speeds if they're charging just so much for this lenses. Third thing, the weight is quite heavy. Yes, I was not expecting it to be this. Of course, I had checked the specs, but somehow I ignored the checking the weight. It's quite heavy. You literally have to decide how do you normally like plan your photos. Let's say if you are driving through very compact cities or something, then it makes sense. If you are going to look for some landscapes, architecture, real estate, then of course this lens. But if you are looking for something closer, portraits or something, then probably you should be just picking this 55 millimeters and going with it, because it's quite heavy. Literally, you just have to decide if you really need this or not. I will be needing it because of course I will be using dedicated this as a photo camera, so of course I'll be needing both the wide lens and the normal lens as well. Most of the time all of my photos goes through this camera, so of course we'll be using this. But since it's heavy, I just have to make some choices whenever really I don't need it, and maybe I will just let it stay inside my dehumidifier box, and after travel I can go and come back and check. So absolutely, it's a stunning lens. The image quality absolutely epic. There is no vignetting, edge to edge sharpness. Everything is great, and it's silent. It's not very loud, and minimum focusing distance goes to 30 centimeters, which is still quite good. I mean, you literally feel it once you have the 20 to 35 millimeters. You feel like, yes, I could have just gone a bit more wide till 20. But if you are going for the prime 25 millimeters, you'll always keep on thinking, I should have gone for the 20 to 35, should have gone for that, I should have gone for that. Probably a lot of people end up buying the 25 first, and after that they feel I might need this 20 to 35 millimeters for more ultra wide situations, and they end up getting that one as well. So again, that's a kind of a waste of money. That was the main reason why I decided I should not be getting the 25 millimeters and I should go for this one, because anyways I already have the 25 millimeters and the 14 millimeters, 16 to 35 millimeters, all of them I already have in Sony. So anytime I need something, probably I can just shift my base to Sony for some, and until unless I'm looking for some best of the best and for the memories, probably I will just be taking this, because again this is just a dedicated photo camera. It doesn't even do video. So hopefully you loved the review about this 20 to 35 millimeters. In case if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, because on Instagram all of my photos mostly are always shot with the Hasselblad, either the 55 millimeters or this one. So all of the photos you can see, because there are a lot of people who are actually making videos about those cameras and lenses, but they're not uploading any content. So people are not able to know what exactly they use the camera for. But whenever you are following me on Instagram, at least you get to see what I use those cameras for and what all do you normally get whenever I am shooting, and so that you can actually see the exact results what I normally get with those cameras and lenses. Hopefully you loved the video. If you got any question, let me know in the comments.